Hey guys, it's time for another Fletcher build here. We're getting towards the end, and let's see here. Where do we start right now? Well, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna kind of go back in time because I recorded a whole bunch of stuff where I was just kind of doing some of the work on the little lifeboats here. I still got to touch them up a little bit, but I've got them painted. And some of the other things that I've done in the meantime is painted all of the photo etch here. So I've went and picked up some kind of Rust-Oleum type of, I'm sorry I don't have it in front of me, but it's a self-etching primer. So because we were getting so much little scratches and stuff like that on the actual photo etch, and the paint was kind of not really sticking very well, even though we did kind of prep it a little bit. I figured I'd go with the self-etching primer here, which just happens to be gray, and it's pretty much the same color here, as you can tell. And so I got everything else painted up, everything that's left over, which a lot of it is just the rails and a couple little small parts and pieces here, and then we'll be done with the photo etch. So let's jump over to the rest of the video, or the beginning of the video there, and I'll narrate some of that, and then we're going to come back here after I'm done with that, and we'll start getting a couple little the small pieces here together. Like I was just looking through the what's left. We don't have a lot of photo etch left already. Just got to do all the little guns, a couple little pieces of photo etch that go into the aft large I don't know, anti-aircraft gun over here. That's about it. And then there's little shields that go on each of the smaller guns that I got to cut out, and I'm going to start doing that, and then we can start on our rails over here. I don't know if I'm looking forward to that, but anyway, we'll watch everything else, and then we'll be back here.
Hey guys, yeah, so started doing the little lifeboats over here, just a lot of sanding on them, and a couple of the other little parts and pieces. There's a couple little sort of cranes along the either side of the ship, so had to sand those up, and eventually we'll get to painting them. Little little thing inside of the actual lifeboats there too. A little kind of square or something. I had to kind of sand that up and painted it all up with the same colors here, and then started painting some of the other photo etch there. I should have done that beforehand before putting it on the actual ship, but wasn't too hard to get in there, and I get like the little stairs and the cranes and the netting on the inside of the little life rafts there. And I eventually do touch up the floor there too, also the deck with the darker blue. Now I painted the inside of the larger life rafts here white. For right now.
All right, so I have been looking at the all the pictures I can find of Fletcher destroyers and all of their little lifeboats, whatever whatever the proper term is there. And I can't tell what color they are. I can't tell if they're white interior. That's the way the instructions have it. You know, they're gray on the outside, white on the interior. It looks like they're kind of gray anyway. And a lot of them have sort of like a little half canopy over the front end over here, kind of like a little tent canvas type canopy, and just all sorts of stuff. Some of them I've seen actually a few models where they just kind of put an entire canvas cover over the top over here and be done with it. But for now, at least, what I think I'm going to do is at least clean up the outlines here and just make them gray, and then we'll go from there. So let's kind of stir my paint up here a little bit. I'm just going to use a toothpick and get in here and just kind of go along the edge. I don't want to have too much paint on there, just enough paint just so it doesn't pour down into our painted white section. Just kind of go up along the edges here, because I kind of painted painted a whole bunch of white, you know, just kind of smeared it in there, so I got white along the edges there, but I want to kind of clean that up. So that's what I'm going to do for right now, and then I'll see if there's anything else I can do to kind of dress these up a little bit. I do a lot of painting with, you know, especially little detail things like this. You don't need a paintbrush. A toothpick with a drop of paint on it is good enough right there. And I'm going to do the cross braces here too. To kind of hold your breath here for this. All right, there's one down. I'll get the other one and we'll take a closer look at it. Okay, so hopefully this will focus in. Come on, focus. There we go. And you can see I've got a nice clean edge to it. All right, so next up, I'm gonna put these aside and let them dry someplace. Kind of went back into the instructions here, all the way to the back here. We still got to do the prop shafts and the propellers, and then all of these little spots, all of these little boxes that don't have a big check mark means there's something here. Like this has got a check mark right here, so that means this whole section right here is done, or at least that section right there, if I can look correctly. So a couple little things here, we can start marking these off. There's a little spotlights here on either side. I'm going to go ahead and get those cut out. I'm going to get all the guns cut out. These are the small guns that have to have a little photo etch piece. The sort of shield, the whatever shield that goes around the gun is a photo etch part. I'll cut that out and we'll start putting that all together, and we can kind of start putting the guns in place. And let's see here. And then we can move on to the finale here, which is just kind of putting the larger gun right here. There's a little bit of a bigger shield for photo etch that I got to do, and then we do the depth charges, and then the final thing we're going to do is all of the railing. So let me go ahead and start cutting out every little part and piece here, and then we'll get to it. Okay, so I've got my 6 guns out, cut out. I've got 2 spotlights that kind of go up on the very top of the sort of main deck area, and then we've just got these 6 shields that go on the gun. So I'm going to go ahead, try to cut those out without getting my head in the camera. And these have got the see the self-etching primer on them now, so we'll see how that holds up. Get that out of the way, and yeah, nice little tiny parts. All right, I'm going to try to figure out how to get these together. For the actual spotlights here, I'm going to do a little bit of sanding. It's very fine work here. Just get the nubs off of either side, and there's a little seam line that runs over the very top of it, so it's like 2 halves put together, and you got to get that seam line right over the top. So I gotta get in really close with the sandpaper over here, sanding stick, to get all that without having a thing fly off the table here. So let me get that done, or at least I'll try to show you. There's one that's got a big nub right there, so I'm just using my big file for that one. And then we'll come back and smooth it out with the stick. All right, that looks pretty good. It's got a little bit of still got a little bit of a seam there. I'll do that off camera and then start getting these put on here because they're going to get super glued. We'll come back and see what they look like. Okay, I've got all 6 guns back here put together, and figure let's go ahead and get these 2 spotlights put on over here. Now I can't guarantee my head's not going to get in the way, but they go right here, one on this side, one on the other. And I kind of took a look at them, and actually I think I missed a little bit of sanding spot right there, right at the base. There we go. Get rid of that. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of the extra thin, and that'll tend to kind of melt down on any of those little ridges or anything like that. But I guess I could try dry fitting it. I'm just afraid I'm going to drop it. Yeah, see, it's going to go in like that. All right, that looks easy enough. Actually, instead of the quick setting, let me just go with the regular extra thin here. And again, we're going to have to touch up the paint around all this stuff too. There we go. Get a little bit in that hole. Let's go ahead and place this in there before it dries. Here we go. There's one. I guess it doesn't really matter which way it's pointing. I'm guessing I'm pointing it out like this. So they're shining the spotlight out this way. Whew, okay. And then we get the guns going over here. We got 2 guns here, and then I think it's 2 here on either side, so 6 altogether. So I'm guessing these are all set up. They were a little bit of a, wow, they were very fiddly to get together right there, but once you get the swing of it, it kind of just went together. So these are going to go in there. And I want them kind of pointing outward again too, or at least forward, something like that, or at least to the side. I want them pointing out to the side. So let me get a little bit of my extra thin into that hole right there, and then we'll just plop it in there. Ooh, come on. Let's plop. He's falling over. Get in there straight. Come on. There we go. All right. Whew. Fiddly little work, but all right. There's 2 of these guys down. We still have the photo etch sort of shield that goes around these 2, so I don't think I'm going to put these on. I'm going to go ahead and get the other 2 on, or get the other gun on here, over on the other side. Just make sure that one's kind of centered. And get the spotlight on, and we'll go from there. Hopefully we get this little shield thing right here. I got to figure out where it is on the photo etch, and then we'll put that on, then we can get the guns on. Okay, little correction over here. I thought that the shields, there's 2 gun placements here, same on the other side, and I thought that they had sort of a little wall around them, and I thought there was photo etch, but there actually isn't. So I'm going to go ahead and chop these out, get them glued in. Let me find my my cutters here. Oop, look at that. I think I already chopped it. Yep. I screwed that one up. Trying to do it all fancy like, and I kind of cut the edge of it off. Alright. Damn it, it's always something. Yeah, right there. I just kind of cut the end of that one off, unfortunately. Well, a little bit of battle damage, I guess that's what the way we're gonna have to call it here. All right, let's get to sanding this. Now, of course, I didn't pay attention to which one's which, but there is a side to them. So I'm going to go ahead and figure that out off camera, but they're not interchangeable. It was part 1 and part 2 or something like that, and I can't remember if they go like that or vice versa. So I'm going to figure that out, and then we'll sand it up, and then we can get it glued in. Okay, I got it figured out here, and actually, thanks to my little cut right there. I know after looking at the sprue that still has the other little end of this. This is B1. The other one is B2, and they are called out. So that B1 goes on the left side. Don't ask me the nautical term. I can't remember if it's starboard or port. And then B2 goes on this side here, and then one side's kind of flat, so you can tell. I kind of laid it out, and one side is a little bit more pointy. The pointy side goes up, kind of like that, and there is a little bit of there's a little deck imprint right over here, and they kind of fit right on the outside, so the imprint's on the inside there. So I'm gonna go ahead, sand these up, and at least get one of them down on the camera. We got one that's damaged. I'll figure out what to do with that one. At least want it to look halfway decent, since it's a kind of prominent part here. And my file here is good enough for getting it nice and smooth at least. I don't need to take a finer sanding stick to it. Just kind of get the majority of well, not the majority, but get the little nub off that is left over from cutting it off the sprue. All right. And again, we're going to paint this after it's actually put into place. I mean, it's gray already, so it doesn't really matter about the sort of interior. But we'll hit it with the paintbrush and stuff like that. So that's the flat side. It goes in like that. Kind of get some of this crud off of it. I'm terrified I'm going to knock this thing over or hit it with something. Kind of clean that up a little bit. All right. All right, I may have to get my head in here just to kind of place it. Yeah, so it kind of flares out of the, I'm zoomed in here, it sort of flares out. Like, so if this is the curve here, it's sort of flared out like that. All right, I think we can just get a little bit of glue on it and just stick it down into the right spot right there. It sort of falls into place, but not really. The little line right here is not that pronounced. But I don't want to make a mess with a ton of glue on here, because then I just got to come back and paint. So what I think I'm going to do, let me see if it's easier to put it down with the tweezers. Kind of get it in one shot. I may be overthinking this, but just want it to be even right here. Let me see if I grab this end and I can kind of come in this way and drop it. I think that's the best way to do it. So get some glue on the bottom side here. There we go. I think it's close enough. All right. Whew. I won't bore you with watching that on the opposite side. So I'm going to go over there off camera. We'll sand this up. And luckily, it looks like that cut is sort of on the top side. So it just looked like that got hit or something like that. All right, I'm gonna flip this around and get this one on.
All right, guys, so I got the other guns on there. I got everything touched up and with a little bit of paint, and I think we're gonna call that the conclusion of this video here. And let me go ahead and change my focus just to make sure it's focusing in nicely. But yeah, it's looking real good. You can see we've got our guns on the deck right there, and boy, I can't wait to finish this thing up so that we can move on to something else. But it'll be nice to at least have a Fletcher destroyer on the cabinet over there. All right, guys, till next time, take care.